we go. So you'll see that come through that there's a recording going on. So here we go. So Mary Wuest, who is a digital strategist, will focus today on, is your digital presence working for or against you? She will share practical advice on how your website, directories, social media can work together to build credibility and visibility. That way, your online presence will support you and not hold you back. She will cover under websites about clear, consistent content and technical basics will create your foundation for your website. And what are directories? Online directories are like Google, Yelp, Apple Maps, and LinkedIn, in a way, through the LinkedIn recommendations, are third-party validation of you and your business. Then, of course, there's social media, how reviews and engagement provide social proof that reinforces your credibility. And finally, best practices meet AI, how search engines and AI interpret patterns across your digital ecosystem. That's kind of a fancy phrase. I like that. Your digital ecosystems, the patterns, what's happening there, reading social proof, much like people do. So Mary's goal today is to simplify what can feel overwhelming, and we'll give you some actionable steps so you can start going right away to strengthen your digital presence. And she's looking forward to helping us all feel more confident about how people are finding us and trusting our business online. A little background about Mary. She recently founded Sync Strategies, where she helps small and mid-sized businesses to simplify, secure, and strengthen their digital presence. She has over 20 years of experience in website strategy, SEO, vendor oversight, and specializes in aligning websites, directories, social platforms, so they're all going to work together instead of against each other. And finally, Mary is passionate about giving business owners clarity, control, and confidence in a digital world that I think we all can agree is often overwhelming. So with that all said, take it away, Mary Wuest.
Thank you. I didn't realize I sent you all that.
Yes.
Like, oh, that good. Okay. Hi, everybody. Thank you for the people who came for me. And it's just so nice to see the half of the group is familiar, lovely, supportive faces. So I'm going to share my screen. Start with that. And I might be already, I had already, right, Joyce?
Yeah, you did.
It's here. I just have to call it up. Okay. So from the beginning. All right, here we are. All these bars. So yes, we're going to talk today about, is your digital presence working for you or against you? So that is, I first want to talk about social proof, because that's really what this all winds up being, and just really understanding that when somebody gives us a referral, what do they do first? They Google, they look us up. They are looking to see, get a feeling for who we are. And so just really looking to behaviors, opinions to guide their decision. Are you trustworthy? Are you legitimate? Have others had good experiences? And the stakes are high, really, because an inconsistent online presence can undermine even the best referrals. I have always said with the website and the the whole presence is we don't know who isn't calling us. I think that's really feels the most important to me, is we don't know who we're not hearing from because they've decided without you really having a chance. So that's what we're just going to talk about today. The first, okay, we have our website. Starting with that, just knowing when somebody lands on our website, they have about 3 to 5 seconds before they form a judgment. That's just the truth of it. It's just, what are they looking for? They want clarity. They want consistency. And people decide fast. It's a fast-paced world. So just really looking at our websites, can you see immediately what people do? Is it clear who you serve? Do you make it easy to take the first step? And so just consistency in messaging, it's going to come more important. The website's kind of where it starts, but we want to spread the consistency out. But really important is performance. performance actually speaks often louder than the design. If it's a slow load, if the navigation is funky and hard to get around, pages that aren't showing up, copy that's clearly old and outdated. So the performance really matters with our websites. So the next one, basically your website works 24/7. Make sure it's working for you. Okay? I like that. So directories are kind of can be a yawn. It might be boring, but it's actually one of the more is incredibly powerful thing we can do for our online presence is the directory listings. And that's basically when somebody's searching for you. So when somebody's searching for your business, usually the directories are showing up on that search as well. Places you're listed, LinkedIn, those sorts of things. But we're talking specifically about Google Business, Bing, Yelp, and now we have an Apple Business Connect. So Apple Business has expanded a little bit. This is just since October of 20, this year. So it's pretty soon. A consistency being listed means you're legitimate. So basically, there, let me want to see what I mean, the key really is consistency. So we're starting at the website. And when you start, I don't know if you guys have noticed, some people you pull them up and every directory kind of says something different. And the picture is radically different. Maybe one's 10 years old and one's new. So that's where the directories of consistency really comes important. So consistent information, it's really instant credibility. We're just forming these opinions just as we're looking. This isn't always like saying, oh, this person is this or not that. This is all happening subtly, often just subconsciously. But people are moving fast and they're making decisions. So consistency, one of the things we call in the directory world is NAP, name, address, phone number. We are also just being consistent. And so that's kind of keeping track of this stuff so you can make the updates when you make a change. And so directories, we have to stay a lot more on top of them than people do and really make use of them. So basically, when it's inconsistent, the search engines too, they're not, it's kind of goes against you is that because they're not sure who you are when things are inconsistent. And then so that's about it. Just updates need to happen throughout, and it can't be this complete departure from your website. And the directories are pretty straightforward, and they also have reviews. So I think I'm going to probably move fast through here, really. So reviews and social media engagement. That's really is social proof at its purest form. Because this is what people are saying about you. Now, going back to directories, this is why you want to have your Google Business Directory set up in control of, because you want to be knowing when you get a review so you can respond to it. But the reviews and within the social media, also in social media, says that the algorithm, so the algorithms and chats, all the AI, they're noticing when people are liking and sharing and commenting. That's all showing this strength. We're kind of start with the website, and then we have these directories, and then we have the social media, which is telling more of a story, and also talking about just how people are talking about you. So it's just an authentic presence is what we are after. All in all, we just want to be consistent looking and just make sense to people. So really with the social media, I want to say that so a couple things about that. I know people like we hate social media. I heard that. I agree. I don't think we want to be completely drawn in, but I think that that's okay. You really don't have to be on every platform. So be judicious. Be on one platform and do it well. That'll be okay to be on one platform and do it well. Um, it's just better to post consistently on one than sporadically on the different ones, and also be radically different. Again, I think this is really can happen is what people definitely your Facebook audience is different and your LinkedIn audience is different. So your content might be shifting more for the audience, but at the end of the day, you just don't want to look bipolar, or schizophrenic. Some people are just like, oh my God, who is this person? Like people need to know who feel comfortable and calm and connected and authentic is really important. And I just can't stress enough that I just know for a fact, because I hear it and I do it myself, is I can get a referral and I can look that person up and I can just say, not so much, and we just never get that chance. And that's what we want. We want the chance. We want to be able to talk to people. We want people to contact us. So basically, your brand voice should be recognizable everywhere. When people find you on different platforms, they should really see the same you, the same kind of messaging, values, personality. This through line really reinforces your credibility and makes you more memorable, more of a memory than who was this person, that sort of thing. So now we're moving into AI. So I would say that I know that I feel like a lot of people are, it's on all our minds, but how does it factor in? And I think the good news really is it's important to know that AI is still in a learning mode and they're learning on social proof is one of the things they're learning about you and us. So anything we do today, is going to just build toward AI, but it's really the best practices. We're talking about things that we're always talking about. The website should perform well. It should be in shape, uh, easy for us to go through, but also easy for the search engines to go through, just really the best practices. So basically AI it inherits, that's just an AI word, but it's amplifying the existing social proof. So those social proof really, they're really looking for the long tails, the conversation, the branding, whatever that is, but they don't just go to your website. Really what hips them to the website usually is more the directories and the social media. So really building strong foundations now are going to benefit long-term growth. So basically what the AI is looking for is authority. And that's where the linking also helps with the directories. So authority means just where you're linking to, how you're being referenced. Consistency, so important. Engagement, that's the people interacting and liking. And then these trust signals, which are the reviews, the citations, there's that professional presence. So this is, so fundamentals matter even more. That's what kind of makes me happy. I feel like I'm saying this, a lot of these things were things I was saying 10 years ago as a website person, right? But it's just kind of like, where's your FAQ? Where's your content? Where's your blog? What do people, who are you? How are you showing yourself? So bottom line, it's just focusing on the fundamentals though. Don't let AI get you too crazy. Don't let people sell you something that isn't quite fully developed yet. Just do these basics. Let's get the basics down. And so now I have, probably going a little fast, but we're going to talk to, these are just some quick wins that small changes. I think just it can feel so overwhelming to us. Another thing to do, another thing on the list. But really, these small changes can significantly strengthen how others perceive your business. So, one thing, I mean, you guys can do it now on your own phone, but Google yourself and take a look at what people are seeing when they're Googling you, when they're Googling your name, when they're Googling your business. What are they saying? Are you looking consistent? Are you on the first 5 or 6 results because you've done a good job with having a LinkedIn profile, being in the different directories, that sort of thing. So that's one quick win, not a waste of time. And what you would do is just make note of what you need to get back and clean up, strengthen, make a little bit better, and then ensure that your website clearly states what you do and for whom, because that can be the most frustrating thing. I think we all agree when you're going to a website and you really just aren't getting what they're doing. So it's a hard thing to do. That's why we hire people, and have it get help too. That's their sweet spot. The content, Thea, the design, Ling, those sorts of things. The business coach, Mary Gall. It really does take a team though to do this stuff. But claiming and updating directory listings. When you do directories, make sure that your plate is clear. Don't have 5 windows open when you're doing a directory. When you open your directory, set things up, make sure, really do it with thought and give yourself that clear space to do it. You could just say, I'm going to do this for an hour and turn everything else off. And then also just asking for reviews. We hear about that all the time. So it's just good. It turns out people do like to give reviews, they just do. So asking satisfied clients for reviews, that could be a whole training in itself. But then also posting consistently on one rather than sporadically on many. And I know some of you know already you'd have the type of system where you post on one and it updates three. So that sort of thing, but just really making sure that you just take one and you build it. So who's your customer? Are they going to be on Instagram? Are they going to be on your client Instagram, Facebook? Making those sorts of decisions. So those are that. And then I think it's going to be yes. But basically, I just want to say that your digital presence is working 24. I'm going to just do this real quick. Your digital presence is working 24/7 to either build or undermine trust. And I can't say it enough. It just really, it just, when I see some of the stuff I see, we really have to clean it up and make positive that it's building or undermining. Is it building or is it making it worse? Every single day, people are Googling us, looking at our websites, reading our reviews, checking our social media. They're making decisions about whether or not to work with you based on what they find. I mean, it's like, I think I think it might have been Mary, if you said this, but it's like they spend 2 hours before they do anything like looking for you. There's studies on this, and it's just what's happening. I just want you to remember, though, that small improvements make a big difference. Just chip away, one thing at a time, one day at a time. And those tips are good. They really are. If you just stick with those tips and work your way through it, that would be good. So it's just when your digital presence is working for you instead of against you, something really does shift. And it just does. It really, suddenly you're showing up in search, you are showing up in chat, GPT, because something suddenly shifted and people come to conversations already trusting you. They just come and they know referrals convert more easily. You feel more confident. So there you go. Just start small, be consistent, and build trust. And thank you so much for your time today. And I'll put all my information in the chat as well. And I can do a one-to-one. I can do a free consultation, to keep the conversation going. And then Joyce, you kind of can.
Thank you. This is great. We have lots of time for questions.
Yeah,
Mary Gall had a question about directories. Do you want to bring that up, Mary?
Yeah. Is there a list? I know there's so many directories and many of them we never heard of or know how we even got on them. But what are if you're going to say we're going to set aside a block of time to go and update our directory information, what
Right.
would be the most, like the top 10 or top five, or is there
Well,
a list
yeah, I
somewhere?
could go 10. I'll just go with like more the top five, because one thing that happens is the fringe directories are looking to the Google business, the Bing. They're looking to those directories to fill their information.
Okay.
So those times of when, because it could just be a madhouse, but non-negotiable is Google, Bing, so Google Business and Bing Business. Bing is working with chat. So these relationships are happening. And that's why, so Bing has become more important because it's having a relationship with ChatGPT. So Google, Bing, and Yelp. But Yelp has to make sense. Like I wouldn't go on Yelp, so but Yelp is important when it makes sense. Because one thing to remember, people are they're gonna set up I don't know if you've noticed, but suddenly you have a profile and you didn't even set it up. I mean, profiles get set up, and people on Yelp, you can set somebody's profile up to give them that bad review, that sort of thing. So you really want to keep in control. And then the Apple Business Connect, that's a new one that's really going to be important because Apple is going to be, it's the maps, it winds up being the apps, so the Apple Connect, so, it's just a typical, yeah, Mary.
So if you have a PC and you don't use a Mac, but you still have the Apple profile, right? So
Oh, 100%.
do
Yes.
that through
Because
native.
of, yes, because it's kind of going into the app world now.
Okay.
And we just have to realize these relationships are changing. You know, for all we know, Google and app, suddenly they're, Google and Apple are suddenly doing things together. So these worlds intersect. So 100%, you guys, Apple Business Connect is very important.
Okay,
And
so I have two kind of maybe related questions.
yeah.
One is, would something like ChatGPT or the other AIs, if you went to them and say, can you please go out and find all the directories I'm listed on? I mean, do they have that kind of capacity?
Um, I Possibly, but I don't know that I just think you need to Google yourself. That's the biggest
Well,
thing.
which is my second question. Doesn't it
Uh-huh.
look different to you than what other people do? Do you have to go in maybe like incognito,
Not
right?
particularly. No, the only thing that might happen if you want to do incognito, that's good because the only thing that might happen is just the cookies, right? Like it, you might get a little more dense on yourself, but you want to see that's to my answer to that really was my point was you want to see where you're listed. It's definitely what people are seeing, but you want to see what, and you just go into the second, third, fourth page. That's
Okay.
would be my recommendation. Absolutely chat, but I feel like it would just be more work because you just want to see like what is it
So you
saying?
can just go in without the incognito. There's kind of
I
no
think so.
need,
Yeah,
so no,
I
not
wouldn't
to
do it
bother.
without the incognito at all. And then a lot of times, and you just try different ways, like your business name, and then your
Oh,
name, and
right.
then your address. You're just really trying to pull up all of these places that have you listed. And I know some of you in here, you've got, you've done podcasts, and you have a link on a podcast. To really keep diving is honestly the cleaner it can be, and the more consistent for the conversation is good. So
Did you have a question, Lori? Is there anybody else just raised their question? I thought you had some. Marla
yeah.
Press, yeah, you have a question. Okay. And then Rebecca.
Yeah, I have probably 3 or 4 questions. Hopefully, they're quick and easy answers. So you mentioned about posting on social media. I know there's managers that do it for you, and that supposedly doesn't work well as far as being indexed. But even if I post the same exact thing myself manually on different platforms, is that bad for the algorithm?
No, and you're all right. They don't talk about it much, but those things I do just post in advance and you fill it in and it goes up on three. It isn't as powerful. You're right, is actually so really if you feel like you can, posting yourself in real time is the ultimate, but it's just not always realistic. If that's what you're asking, right? When you said those places where you would just
Yeah, I
go
mean,
in.
it's super easy to do it manually. It doesn't take that much more time if I'm posting
Good.
the exact
Yeah.
same thing. I just didn't know if the algorithms work against you when it's not new content, so to speak. It's on
Oh,
three.
yeah, on the different ones.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't think so,
Okay.
particularly. I wouldn't
Okay.
get crazy about it. I
Uh,
think you just want to think about your audience. Like I always, when I do an art, I alter LinkedIn has a little different tone, and chats, your AI is good with that. So you might want to just because of the audience, you know, um, alter it a little bit, but it's still the same idea, whatever that is.
right.
But the
Yeah.
same thing, I think that's the devil's in the details with that one, I would say, with the
Okay.
social media. Yeah.
So Marla, why don't you ask all the questions you have and then we'll go to Rebecca.
This is
Okay.
why I do went a little faster. I knew there'd be
Another
questions.
question. So I know you can link different websites together, and at this point, I have like 4 different websites. Is linking, should you only be linking one with one, or does it matter how many you're linking together? Not sure how that
Right.
works.
It just has to make sense, because when you think about content, if you're really doing some disparate businesses, you know what I mean? So it might be like, here you are doing this and then you're selling that, and it doesn't make much sense in between. It has to make sense, but I would have to really know what those were. But you
Yeah,
can
they're not
link.
separate businesses. Like one is kind of everything I do. Another is just to book me as a speaker.
Mhm.
Another is because I sell apps and bundles with apps, and it's just all about that.
Yeah,
And then
I mean,
so
whatever you think, just make it make sense with the content. Book an appointment, takes you there's do an app. You just want the conversation. It just has to be the conversation, right? Versus just plopping the links in there. So that's what I would say about that. And especially if you see them making sense, that's good. But you can click anything. Just make sure you're opening a different window. So you're not taking people out of the site. You want that new window to pop up versus getting people
Oh,
off.
so they would be because they're separate websites, they would be taken out of that website.
Yes.
Right.
So that's not a good thing then? So-
There's just no hard thing, it really is. But typically you really just want to open another window so that site they were on stays open, even if they don't go
Yeah.
back until they close everything. But just
Okay.
know that if you take people off of your site, they're off of your site.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And then do you know any tips and tricks? I know some, but how you get your Google Knowledge Panel?
That would be, it's probably just a little off topic. I don't know a lot about it, top of mind. And so I'd have to look into that a little bit. I wouldn't be confident with my answers.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, so Rebecca, you had a question or two?
Yeah, and you kind of answered one of them right there when you were talking about the different um, websites and stuff. I mean, to me, it's kind of astonishing that through time I have had consistency because my personality is I'm a bit all over the place,
Yeah.
in a fun way. And, but actually as business goes, I've been consistent.
Good.
Um, so, but what do you do if, I mean, geez, or even if somebody else, like you said, somebody can get up there, put something on Yelp about you and make it negative, and you didn't even know it was there.
Yeah, I know
How do
it's
you
kind of scary. Once you
overcome?
have your own Yelp profile, though, then they can't duplicate a profile. So that's why you want to create your
That's
own
what you mean
business
by
profile.
claiming then?
Claiming, yes, if there's one up there, you claim it. But having a handle, directories are so important. Like I said, it seems like all the most boring things are the most important things because directories can be a slug. But you want, what was I going to say about that though? But so your Google, you just want to be sure that you've claimed it and you have an email address so that you know when you get a review. So what'll happen is if once you've claimed your Yelp and they have your the main email address, when somebody reviews you, boop, you get an email that says you've been reviewed. So it comes to you, so you don't have to worry like that. And sometimes if you feel like you would, I think I've had customers who had more of that spicy personality, like a lawyer, and so they just on best practices, I would look for every month, I would just do a search. He paid me just to search and see if there were things being said. You can do a Google, but bottom line, you just want to set your directories up, have it consistent, don't have it going to an employee or an old email because you want to know when you get a review. And if it's negative, you just respond to it. You ask questions,
I was gonna ask a favor before we go on, and we have certainly another 15 minutes for those who can stay. Would it be okay to do a photo shot of this group? If you're not okay, just.
yeah.
This way I can PR this whole wonderful discussion and see if I can that's gonna make sure I have it right, unless somebody's better at doing that than I am. But let me just try here. Okay, so I know I got a plan. All right, here we go. Now just look up at that camera and give a big smile. Here we go. Yeah, I think I have it. There it is. I got it. I got it. I've saved that. I'm just gonna go take it somewhere. Talk amongst yourselves. I hope I have it here.
So I was just thinking about how bad I would feel, instead of being, oh, this is so positive and I'm building my directories and I'm building my all positive. I'm thinking, oh God, I could be so cut down, or cut myself down in this way
Right.
of like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
so screwed,
Yeah, I don't know that I wouldn't say that's not something I've seen, and I've seen a lot. I don't think that particularly happens. And there's ways to, make sure you have my contact information. I mean, there is ways to get them taken down when they're wrong. Like there's a process in place if some cuckoo person did something, but just so you know, I mean, I've had lots of customers over the years, and that's just I've never yeah, I don't see that happening. That wouldn't worry you. You're like, I mean, getting a review, you have to kind of ask for them typically to really get them rolling. You know, I think restaurants are probably the ones that, you know, when you're going to service businesses, it's a different thing. I see Ling's hand too.
I just wanted to add to that conversation and
Yeah.
say that it's a numbers game. So
Mm.
essentially, it's all about percentages. So if one person puts a negative review in, it just inspires you to get on the phone and call some people you know who might leave you a good review. If you get 3 on their 1, then you're starting to reduce the numbers. So it helps a lot if you, just talk to some people who can give you good reviews.
Right. Customers, people are happier than you know. I always wonder why I get so bad at it, because then you ask somebody, they're like, oh yeah, I'll do that. Yeah. But people say yes. That's been my experience. I'm not good at asking though. It's a lot of discipline.
And I don't think it's been my experience that not all directories will edit a bad review. Like I'm on Airbnb. We're an Airbnb host, and some I'll keep my language clean person stayed in our place, and we did not like them at all. They were really bad guests. And they left us the review that said that they saw brown recluses in our basement, which is total fiction, you know. And I tried to get it off, and they wouldn't take it off. And so not every situation works in your favor that way, but it doesn't matter. I just got a bunch of new good positive reviews, and now it's gone. So
did they let you respond to that, Ling?
I did respond to it, but I tried to take the high road and not get too, that's another thing, like, doesn't help you to put a really nasty negative response.
Right.
No, you wanted to say, like, tell me more.
Yeah.
That's not my experience. I didn't hear that when you were here, that kind of stuff. I think
Catherine, did you have something you were going to add to this?
Yeah, with Yelp reviews, personally, if I see a bad review, I look and see what else is there. How many good reviews does a person have? And if I see the 1 or 2 and it's like they're just disgruntled, they're having a bad day, whatever, and I don't even pay attention to it. So it does not, as a consumer, it does not influence me. I think Yelp has been around long enough and people understand how that can be abused. And so that's how I do it. And I do that the same with Amazon products, you know, the 5-star, the 4-star. Like if something is consistently 5-star and then you get like 2 or 3 people saying, you know, whatever, it's the same principle. So I think we have,
Something, excuse me, that we didn't bring up so far as Facebook reviews. On your Facebook business page, people can review you there.
right.
no, I
And
didn't.
I've seen that, I've seen some of those come up higher than searches. I haven't for a while. But you can, similar to you can and the Airbnb, you can comment back and just say, try to get with them offline and say, we'll be addressing this offline. And then the classic kind of thing, if it gets resolved, when it does, whatever, you can come back and say, well, Susie Gewer had this, challenge. And, we have talked and we've addressed it. And boy, we learned a lot from the things that she brought up. So, sometimes that thing of not in this case, probably Ling, but where people have had an issue, and the entity has addressed it really well, they can be your best selling people. That's actually has happened, kind of a flip of it. I want to mention maybe a little known fact. This is kind of tangential to this topic, but did you know that LinkedIn, other people can claim a LinkedIn company page for, I've had that people happen. So even if you don't use your company page on LinkedIn altogether that much, it still doesn't hurt to go in and create a company page. And I can show any of you how to do it, no charge at all, because it's something you might want to consider so nobody else is going in and pretending to be you. So I have had a client have that happen, and for the life of her, she tried to go to LinkedIn about it. She tried to have her lawyer go to LinkedIn. It was horrible. So I have another really quick question before we're wrapping up. When you talk about authority and essentially backlinks, I was thinking that could be something like a chamber of commerce, or for some of us, the Supporting Hearts and Enterprise She Leads group, which has been around a long time. Don't those kind of carry more
Oh,
weight?
100%.
Can you tell us
100%.
about that, Mary?
Yes. Yeah. Well, directories are the most easy way to get started. But yeah, so authority just means, yeah, so you're on other people's websites, your link is on other people's websites, or you, and then again, these algorithms are, it's just so, who even knows how they do it, but it is a scoring thing. So yeah, so the fact that we are women business owners and we're on a She business networking site, they really work well together. And actually Beth's done such a great job. For any of you want to hear about She, that a lot of times, yeah, the She profile comes up when you are searched. So yeah, so the She podcasts, asking the podster to, to tag you, yeah, just industry websites, blogging, being a guest bloggers. I mean, that could be a whole, any of these are just could be an hour topic, honestly. But that's authority. That's right. It's not just the directories, but there is a good place to start.
And also, excuse me for interrupting, but I think LinkedIn recommendations, which you really did allude to in your introduction more than the slides, but they only can be made for something you have in the experience section, a specific position description. So if you like, I think Marla, okay, you have different offerings, right, within your overarching company. So under that overarching company, or maybe even as a separate entity, you would list those positions. So when you ask people to recommend you, then they're shown all these different specific positions. I even have guest podcaster, Mary's been a guest a lot, Mary Gall especially, been a guest on other people's podcasts. So somebody can come in and talk about, say they were the host. Oh, Joyce was fabulous on the podcast. She really informed us, we all learned a lot and had a lot of fun. So you can actually have that done, especially like you, Laura Jane. That would be something, we should talk about that when we visit this week. So I just thought I'd throw that out. And did you know that your LinkedIn recommendations to other people show up on your profile as well as the recommendations made about you? Think about that. So be sure to be recommending other people. Right. Why not?
One thing I want to take us all back down to, though, remember, is this one little step at a time. I would love for you.
Yeah, this is sort of down the road, but just so people think about.
Oh, totally. There's a lot to think about. Yep.
Other questions? We have a good 5 minutes. I do want to have one announcement about next month, but anything else that people are wondering about or just weighing in?
Weighing in. I like that.
So I have a question for you, Joyce. You mentioned about having a business page on LinkedIn. So I just have my personal profile. So 2 questions. One is, should it be called my name or should it be called my business name? And second of all, is it mostly just so that someone doesn't claim it, or is it really advantageous to have that in addition to my personal profile?
It should be your business name, and even if you have other entities, you could have as many, this sounds like a lot of work, but as many company pages as you have entities. And yes, I would say, I'm guilty of this. If you could go to that business page, that company page, and even once a month put up a post, and then you could take the 3 little dots you see at the top of that post where it says copy link to post, and then post that company page post over to your profile. So you can kind of cross fertilize so people know you have a company page. But Susan Mann, another person who's been very active in this She group we've talked about, she's the one that kind of beat this into me almost, is that language, but just really emphasize your SEO is better when people are looking, like Mary, we said, for your business name. If you have a company page on LinkedIn, that's going to enhance your ratings in like a Google search, and do stuff on it. At least some. Not a lot. I mean, you really should spend mostly on the profile. Other topics, questions, observations? Oh, Beth's got her hand up. Where's Beth? Yeah.
Yeah, I had a question for Mary. What kind of well, what kind of questions would I ask myself if to have on an authentic presence, or maybe define that a little bit more too?
Yeah. I think it is, I think ideal. What is your why is a good one, just for you to understand what that passion
Mhm.
is, what that why is, the motivation, what it's also good to know who your ideal customer is. So you know who you're talking to. So those are kind of like avatars, like if there's an age group. It's just nicer, even if it is anyone, it's good. Like Joyce does a really good job, like boomer. Of course, she works with millennials, that kind of thing. But it's good to try to niche it out a bit. That's just a real breezy. I'm sure Ling and I could have Ling and I know Beth. We would love to have a conversation with you about that. But really understanding who your market is, and but knowing your heart, really this authentic presence really
All of a
means.
sudden we lost your sound, Mary.
Okay.
I don't
Oh,
know,
I
it
can
just
hear
like went
you.
away. But while she's figuring that out, hang on, I just want to say next month we have AI meets cybersecurity, new tools, new threats, and smarter defenses. And the fellow I have coming in to talk about that is an IT guy, a very, very personable, smart, and explains things easily fellow. And I encourage you to come for that. And it will be, it's already up. I have it posted on the meetups. If you go back to this meetup group, you'll see it there, that he's coming next month, December 9th. And then January, that would be the 13th, we have Brianne Price, who is another member of this Supporting Hearts and Enterprise group, talking about Facebook. So I don't have her scheduled yet. We're going to meet on Thursday and scope out what, because that's a pretty big topic, to break it down. So much. So
Yeah,
Mary,
they're
can we
all-
hear you now?
Mhm.
Mary, can you talk some more?
Oh, I feel.
Oh, there you are. Yeah, maybe it was just me. For a minute, I couldn't hear you. So
Mhm.
I just want this, I just want to say, Mary, Wuest, thank you for inviting your peeps. We have the highest percentage in quite some time of people showing up compared to people RSVPing. So go, Mary, and all of us, but I especially appreciate Mary. Mary filled in for me here. I needed somebody because I had a speaker set up and then he bailed on me. And I'm like, oh my God, Mary Wuest, she'd be the person to have, the best person, and good visibility for her. It's win, win, win. So thanks everybody for coming. It's been such a really heartfelt and fascinating
Thank
time
you.
together. Yay.
Everyone, I appreciate your questions too.
Yes, and reach out, set up one-to-ones. I have hopefully as many emails as you provided, and if I don't have your email, I will send the key information, at least the link to the Spirit of Joyce, to the YouTube. But you can get the slide deck and all. Okay.
Yeah.
So if anybody wants to stay after and chat more with Mary, I can keep it open for a little while. Did you guys have a good November? Happy Thanksgiving.
Bye.
Thank
Oh, this
you.
was lovely. I love all these people.
Yep. Gonna
Thank you,
save the chat.
Mary. Yeah, this was neat. And Marla, I was thinking maybe we could, how about you speak next year?
I would love to.
I think you would
Absolutely.
be, especially what you were talking about today, and being authentic and not holding back. I won't say the name of the minister or the church, but I heard about a minister who had a big, when one of their big funding, like, some people give a lot of money to a church, right? Well, when this particular minister would go off in this certain directions, he would be all upset. And he really corralled this minister so he couldn't be authentic, because otherwise he was afraid of losing this guy's money. Isn't that sad?
Yeah.
That is.
Yeah. I mean, this is applicable to corporate, to intimate relationships, to any workplace,
Mhm.
and especially to speakers on stage, but it's also applicable to so many
It
situations.
goes out into social media too.
Yeah. Oh,
Because
yeah.
people will say to me, like, well, should I get personal at all on like LinkedIn, which is the more kind of buttoned down to extent that's true anymore. And I say, well, you be real, be true to yourself. If you still believe in DEI, for example, and that's part of your brand and what you're about, hell, don't, just because certain presidents don't like it, don't hold yourself back.
Exactly. Yeah,
Yeah, so if you
there's so
wanna,
much to this. So yeah, I'd love to talk
right,
about it. Yeah,
yeah,
when
I would say
when
just
you
look
have an
at your
opening.
calendar. Second Tuesday is the only one I booked so far is January, so let me know.
All
I
right.
think February might be a good month because the month of love and love yourself, be true to
The
yourself.
method, yeah.
And
Depends
it's my
on your
birthday
schedule.
month too, so what the heck?
Yeah, there
Yeah,
you
I was gonna say,
go.
kind of look like you have wings too, your
Yeah,
chair.
right, right.
I
That's
thought you had wings.
February
Yeah, it was really
10th.
sweet. I'm like, does she
February
have
10th.
wings? I pinned you for a minute just to
Yeah.
see. It was sweet. Yeah, the white.
Yeah, yeah. No, I'll
Okay.
definitely take February. That would be great.
Cool. I'll put you down so that I will get back with you with my little list of things that I have people, but you've seen the events, what I include kind of the little bullet points, what you'll cover, a little bio about
Sure.
you. And I feel, I had a speaker a couple of years ago and it was disappointing. I think it was more of a sales pitch for her. And what
Mm.
I don't see you like that at all. You're much more genuine about helping other people. Here's the way I see it, and this is the way I've seen these speakers really touch an audience is when, but where do you limit yourself? When is it too much information? That kind of thing. That's what I'd be interested in.
Yeah, there's so much to it. I have an exercise I can do with people that's really
Yeah.
fun to bring out
Yeah.
their personality. And
Cool.
yeah, if I'm guilty of anything, it's overgiving. So,
Yeah. Me
Oh, there
too.
we go.
I can relate.
oh my gosh.
Okay.
All right,
Well, I guess we're
wonderful.
good.
Happy
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
See,
Thanks for
you too.
everything. Nice to meet you,
Bye
Mary.
bye.
You
Bye
too,
All
bye.
Marla.
right, bye-bye.
Yeah. So Mary, I think this went really well.
I hope good.
Yeah, it was not, what? I've had somebody else be on, I can't remember who it was recently, and I think it was Brett Teasdale. She had 15 minutes. So I
Mhm.
tell people you have up to 20, but the beauty of just doing 10
That's
or 15 is then you have,
right.
it really is a good one to have a lot of different questions and thoughts. Because
That's what
sometimes
I
things
appreciate.
are
That's
so
why.
technical, people don't know what they don't know, they don't have any questions. But
Right. This wasn't, yeah, this is one of those lively, lots of
yeah,
questions
yeah.
and that sort of thing. So good. I'm glad it worked. I could tell it's like, I think I'm going
Yeah.
fast. I says, but I'm
And it
just
was always
gonna
okay. I
get
said you were last minute, but I remember when I needed someone and Richard canceled, and I think, oh my gosh, Mary could do it, I
Yeah,
bet.
no, it was great. It was good for
It was
me. And it's a good,
perfect timing.
generally it was good content.
Yes. Oh, yes.
Good.
I think it was just enough to kind of entice people to learn more. I think it was not too much, but I think it was enough. The only phrase, and as a mother of somebody with a mental illness,
Oh, what did I say?
you said bipolar,
I
schizophrenic.
wondered about that. No, no, no,
Yeah,
no.
just
That's
wipe
good.
that
That kind
out.
of popped out. No, I thought that. Yep. Yep. Oh,
Sometimes
I
like,
appreciate that. Thank you so much. No,
yeah,
good.
I
Because
have,
I had a feeling of, I bet I'd remember that later. I was like, ugh.
I
Yeah.
know that I've had
Yeah.
that same thing happen. I'm like, oh, probably not the right phraseology.
Yeah. No, thank you. No, I appreciate
Yeah,
that.
so that was good.
I appreciate that a lot. No, this was a
Good.
good opportunity and it did feel good that my people came.
That was lovely. How do you know these
There
youngers?
was another this other networking group. We met for 5 years, so we just stopped. But my abundance,
Wow,
so
5 years?
Ling and Thea and Kathy,
Oh,
they're
wow.
just really smart.
Who
Ling
was it
I
through? Was it an independent group of some kind?
yes, we met the first and third Wednesday. So
Really?
it was a group that I started. A friend of Swer and we started it 5 years ago in COVID. And it really went
Wow.
strong, but I
Is
was
it kind
one.
of dwindling? Is that why you're wrapping
No,
up?
not really, other than a couple people were needing to start working. We're going to start working full time. Suddenly, it looked like about 3 or 4 people, and then with me starting something new, I was like, that was the thing I could maybe let go of,
Yeah.
and so I was kind of thinking about it. So just kind of all, but I was really proud of myself because it was kind of I was the one that
Oh,
it
that's
who helped
cool
start
too.
it wasn't there, but it went 5 years, and we always had either 9 to 12 people. Like
That's a good
it
size.
was a good size. And it was a little more about spirituality. Like when Thea said the spicy, there's a lot of neurodiverse in there. That's when I remember I told you about that, your daughter to visit.
Yes.
And that's where I learned so much about neurodiversity and the spectrum and autism. And so Kathy and Thea both specialize on working with people on the spectrum.
Ah,
So
good
that
to know.
so Kathy can really meet people in the books. And
Wow.
so that's why I kind of got in touch with some of my own. I'm definitely neurospicy. There's no doubt. I think we're all a little on the spectrum, really.
Well, in a way, but I had this lady the other day who I met when I was at that conference in Baltimore,
mhm,
who was convinced that I was ADD.
mhm.
It seems a little
No, I feel
cheeky, for one thing, to say that to somebody. Because she said, when I saw your presentation, I thought, I want to have her on my grandma has ADD uh, podcast. So I went on it with her, but I felt like it was a setup almost, and she was just kind of using me to show, almost maybe to normalize a little bit. I don't know. But I've never in my life had somebody say, have you ever thought you might be
No, I think these young people, I mean, maybe she was a young person,
ADD?
but
No, she's probably 50 something, or she's not
stuff
that
like
much
ADD,
younger.
it just feels like all that stuff's getting thrown around, and
Yeah, I mean, I don't
doesn't
mean
want to
that
be
I don't want to have it be a stigma.
yeah.
I mean, I think that unfortunately has been the case, but I think she's just looking to get more clients and expand her message at any rate. But that was an odd experience.
That was an odd experience.
Mm.
Without a doubt. No, I've had that. Yeah, for me though, I don't feel over identified. I think it was just somehow in that process, it's like I trigger people too.
Mhm.
And I would just be like, oh my gosh, that customer's probably like some of these real difficult, I've had a couple of difficult customers, and I just found myself being so much more relaxed with them,
Oh, that's cool. So they
recognizing
have
that,
other
yes,
things. Yeah,
so it's really nice to have those antenna up, like
right.
that this
Oh,
person,
shoot, I didn't turn off our recording.
oh, or you'll
Oh, well, people will learn our deepest
I wish I didn't say
secrets.
that. But
Yeah,
that was, I was trying to think of a better word, but
yeah.
just kooky probably